Welcome to Interviewing the Legends with Ray Shasho.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. At the end of the summer, on September 20th, modern progressive rock band Dilemma presents its third full-length album, The Purpose Paradox. This concept album, spanning over 60 minutes, will be released on CD, double LP, and via all streaming platforms, and distributed internationally by Butler Records, division of V2 Records. It features 9 brand new tracks ranging in length from 4 to nearly 16 minutes. The sound showcases a broader side of Dilemma, louder, faster, more technical, more progressive, with new frontman, Jermain Bogt, or Wudstik, as the band pronounces his nickname. The vocals have become rawer and more varied. Almost 6 years after the previous record, Random Acts of Liberation, the band sounds reborn, like its predecessor. The Purpose Paradox was produced by drummer Collin Leijenaar, who, together with the famed music wizard Rich Mouser from the Mouse House in LA, was also responsible for the mix and mastering. Thanks to their unmatched ears, the result is an audio experience that Dilemma has worked on with great pride for over the past years. Collin made a name in the progressive rock scene by becoming the drummer, band leader, and tour manager in the European live band of Neil Morris. Of course, Neil's a friend of the show. He's been on the show. Of course, we know Neil from Transatlantic Flying Colors, and of course, his own band, where he's subbed for Mr. Mike Portnoy. Mike is everywhere. Transatlantic, Flying Colors, Extreme Theater, the list goes on. But he's not only a musician, but also a successful entrepreneur. His main company is Novi Pop School, a modern music school which is operating in the Netherlands. To date, his music school has grown into an organization with over 500 plus students and a team of 35 teachers, staff members, and volunteers, and has several locations across cities in the Netherlands. Please welcome the drummer, producer, engineer for Dutch progressive rock band Dilemma, Collin Leijenaar, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Collin.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, man. You know, I've had a lot of bands, Dutch rock bands, on this show, and they're all awesome. You know, I've had Arjen Lucassen.
Yeah.
I've had Flamborough Head recently, another great band. And of course, very recently, I've had Ty Van Leer from Focus.
Yeah. Nice.
And back a few years back, I had Barry Hay from Golden Earring. Yeah.
Cool.
So you guys got quite a history of rock and progressive rock, don't you?
We do. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Of course, I want to talk about the new album. First of all, I want to say you were born January 26th, correct?
Correct.
I was born January 27th.
All right. Cool.
So we're both great Aquarians.
Oh, yes.
The new album's great.
Thank
I really enjoyed. Very different. You know, it's a really cool concept album. The writing is incredible. The lyrics are fantastic.
Thank you.
And there's one instrument that you hear throughout this album that really stands out and is incredible. And you know what I'm going to say, right? The drumming.
Oh, thank you, man.
That just stands out. I mean, come on.
Cool. Well, thank you for the compliment.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
First of all, you got I think you've got 2 videos out there right now, and there's a third one coming out.
Yeah.
That's Sanctuary's coming out soon, right?
Yeah. This
When
Friday.
will that be out? I think it was counting down in minutes when I went to look for it. It might
Yeah, it
even be
does.
out today.
Yeah. No, it's a Friday.
Oh, this Friday. Okay.
Friday, September 6th. Yeah.
Which is it's a great song, by the way.
Thank you.
Intricate
Yeah.
guitar playing, very upbeat vocalization. It's a powerful track. Very cool keyboards and synthesizers.
Hmm.
I'm going to go over a couple of the songs on the album.
Sure.
I Am Neon was, I think, the first single release from the
First
album.
single. Yeah.
Yeah. The drums, again, really stand out on that song. And the lyric, here's my favorite lyric: a state of mind, a state of grace. You know,
Mm.
who wrote all the music on this?
The music we all did.
Okay.
We're really a band that everybody brings in stuff. You know, we like to jam a lot, and then during jamming, cool riffs come up, and then we start working with that. And then we have the jams, so to say. We record that as a sort of demo, and then as a producer, I will start shaving it, and maybe that part and this part really work together very well. So maybe we have a song there, you know. So we start looking at that in that way. Robin, our keyboard player, is the main lyricist.
Okay.
So he wrote like all the lyrics. He came up with the whole concept story together with our former singer Dak Burke, because he was still in the band when we started writing the album. Yeah.
I was always interested, though, with these concept albums. Of course, you would think the lyrics, of course, would have to come first, and then you put the music to it, right?
Yeah, well, this was the other way around. We had the music, and then we start scaping it into a full story, and not only lyric-wise, but also
Right.
music-wise. Because if someone with a good ear will notice throughout the album, we have the riff of a solo moment in one song is the main riff of a verse in another song. And a melody, keyboard melody in one song is being transposed in a different key in a different time signature as a laid back somewhere in the far back, like a tingly thingy, you know. So
Right.
the whole album is coming together like that.
You know, it's interesting. You know, Prog. You know, it's very intricate. You know, that's why I like Prog music. You know, Prog does not fool around. I mean, it's you know, it's important music. It's intelligent music, and I like the changes on each track. You know, it may start out fast. It'll get it slow, gets into something else. You know, which I love. I think it's great.
Yeah, me too.
I just want to mention what the album is about. It tells the story of a man navigating the complexities of life and searching for deeper meaning, guided by a mysterious voice named Electra. Neon's journey is one of the resilience, hope, and self-discovery.
Yeah,
it's interesting. How did he come up with that? You know, I mean, you got to have a great mind for that. You know.
Yeah, well, he does have a great mind coming to lyrics, because he is his day job. He's a copywriter and an art director for a very big company that makes commercials for all the big companies here in the Netherlands.
There you go.
So he's always working with words. So he's good with words. But the story is a fictional tale,
Okay.
but of course based on actual things that we experience in life. Of course, you know, you get stuck in your work. If you have a normal job, you get stuck in that job, and then you go home and you go to bed, and the next day another day of a job. And what's the meaning of life? You know, why am I here? You know, those kind of thoughts and questions. Everybody has that, of course.
Oh yeah.
Even musicians, of course.
Of course.
But still, in that, the story goes like he finds Electra, and Electra guides him to self-discovery, and that well, what we seek often finds us first. So yeah,
he's a good vocalist, but he's very different. You know, his voice is very upbeat.
Yeah,
you know, and actually, he could probably sing a lot of different genres, even pop.
Oh, he can. You
Yeah.
know, he is a progressive rock singer,
Right.
but he started out as a hip hop singer.
I
And
saw that.
He was
Yeah.
one of the guys when hip hop and rap music started in the Netherlands. There were like a few groups, hip hop groups, and his group where he was in was one of the main groups in his area to really get the rap and hip hop music going. But then his solo work is poppy with that urban touch. But he's got a great soul voice, man.
He does have a good voice, and he's a young guy too.
Well,
Right?
yeah.
Well, compared to me, he is.
Yeah, he's young. The youngest
Yeah.
of the bunch here.
Yeah. I love Neon. I think my favorite song on this album, though, I think it's Thunder. That's
right,
one
yeah.
of them.
Yeah, it's an amazing song.
It is a great song.
Yeah.
It's Thunder's. We discover another side of Neon. He's a musician longing to return to the audience with whom he has built a strong connection. Unfortunately, circumstances in the world are unfavorable, making it unclear when he can stand in the spotlight again. I mean, that sounds like a movie.
That story was
Yeah.
actually it did happen. It's a
did
story
happen.
about dilemma. Yeah.
Okay.
It was Robin who wrote the lyrics, of course. We went on tour. Mike Portnoy asked us to open for Flying Colors during the European tour.
Right.
So we were with them on the tour, and that ended half December 2019, and it was like amazing, like playing all those great venues and sold out shows, and it was like a dream come true, of course. And it was the second tour. Mike took us with us. Took Dilemma as opener, like Sons of Apollo the year before, and now Flying Colors. So it was really great. And then you come home from that tour, you live the tour live, and then the next day you're home, the door closes, there's nobody, and now what? And you really long for that feeling you had like a day ago.
Yeah.
A day ago you were on stage, and now you're just home again, and tomorrow you have to go back to work where nobody knows you, where nobody has that vibe. Everybody's like, okay, do your job, you know.
Exactly.
So that whole thing that became a story, and he when he was unpacking his keyboards in home, he just put it on and he started playing that melody. That's the first thing he played when he was home. And that started that song and the whole lyric. Yeah.
Wow.
So that one is an actual story.
Yeah, that's good. You know, it's amazing when you get all these rock stars that are still playing today in prog rock. They'll never stop. You know, it's in your blood. You can't stop. You know. Did you see
music is a way of expressing yourself, you know.
It is. Did you see the documentary about Celine Dion? You know, she's
I have it on my to watch list. I still have to
crippling disease she's got, but she fought to get back on stage because it's everything to her. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredible. You guys are very blessed because you had the gift of music in you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You know, even though you learn how to play, you still, it's not easy. Not everybody can learn how to play music.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know, especially a drummer. I love the way you and this bass player coordinate together too. You guys have, you know, like a little rapport going on there, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Thunder, I think, is one of my favorite tunes. Allies. We had Derek on the show. Trinity, which he's great, man. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And I've had Sons of Apollo. The whole band was on the show. Another great song, you know. And where'd you meet Derek?
Well, I've done a project with a German guitar player, Effector.
Okay.
And for that album was released through Inside Out in 2012, I guess. Yeah, 2012. And for that album, we hired Derek and Jordan Rudess and Neil Morris and a bunch of other people to play on that album. So that was the first time I've spoken with him. And then during the tour with Sons of Apollo, of course, we were always in the same venue and getting to know each other. And then after that, when we were making this song, we thought, well, maybe it's nice to have Derek play a solo on here. And so I texted him, and then he said, yeah, of course. Send me the stuff. And he was so quick. Like I sent it him, and like the next day it was there.
Huh.
Yeah.
You know, Prog is one big family.
Yeah,
You
it
guys,
is. Yeah.
you know, it's amazing. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Like Portnoy's, how many different bands he's played with, you know, and he's
Yeah, it's
always
crazy.
on the road, you know.
Yeah.
Same thing with Neil. Neil's been on the show too, Neil Morris. You
Yeah.
know, he's done so many things, you know.
He's doing a lot, and actually in November I'll be playing with him again.
Oh, cool.
In the Netherlands during Morsfest, but then as a percussionist. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
You played with Neil a lot, right, in Europe?
Yeah, we've done a lot, like from 2014 until 2012, I guess. Every year we did or acoustic tours or full band tours.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And you replaced Mike, I think. Right.
Yeah. Mike played on the records. At that time, he was in Dream Theater,
Right.
and now he's back with Dream Theater, of course. But then he was too busy with Dream Theater to be able to do these tours. Well, long story short, I got to work with Neil, and we did those tours, and I had to learn all his parts, the Portnoy's parts.
Yeah.
So that was a tough cookie. But
how do you do that?
Oh, just you know, this place behind me.
Yeah.
I've been in there like for 6 months, 8 hours a day, just learning the parts, note for note.
Wow.
Getting it in a way that it's not just I can play it, but that I can
add your spin.
Yeah, you know, like I'm above it. You know that it can be natural to you to play. So that's it took me a lot of hours. And then I remember the first show, I was so nervous, of course. And then there were people in the audience like, who's this guy? Where's Mike?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's this guy?
It doesn't look like Mike.
Yeah. And then, oh, okay. So that's always nice to see, of course.
How many songs did you have to learn?
A lot.
A lot. Wow.
A lot. Because like all the albums that Neil has done as a solo artist in that period was like 5 or 6 albums in that period. But then, we, of course, every tour we did stuff from Transatlantic or Spock's Beard. It was like 3-hour shows every year. So it was like rehearsing. And I like it, you know. It's at one point before I played with Neil, I was in a lot of other bands and projects. Right. And then a show is like 1.5 hours, maybe 2 hours.
Right.
You know, but then this was 3 hours, so halfway through it's just 1.5 hours. So a lot of other bands will stop then, and we were just halfway through, you know, like the show, and it was I loved it. So yeah, that's what happens when you belong to so many bands, you know. Yeah, makes my job hard too because I got to do a lot of research. Definitely, yeah. This is gonna take you back a little bit. My favorite. Very favorite song on the album, which if radio was only normal, you know, like top 40 radio, and I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s, this song should be on the radio. I agree. And that's Glow. Glow? Oh. Yes. I thought you would say Not Enough Now. Glow. Glow. Thank you. I think Glow. It begins with a very cool intro, a little jazzy, you know? Yeah. But it's a great song, man. Thank you, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's like 80% I wrote it. Oh, cool. No wonder, see? Well, it's one of the first songs songs that has so many of my written things in it. Right. With Dilemma. So I'm very proud of it. And thank you for the compliment. It's a great song, man. It really stood out for me. All right. Cities was another one. Yeah. That was another cool track. Yeah. The way it grows. Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned Not Enough Now, which is, I love the way that Not Enough Now, singing that lyric over and over again. It's very, very cool. And then you got into your Prog self, 15 minutes and 40 seconds. Of course, you got to have a long song on a Prog album, right? Yeah. Outer Light. Yeah. And you brought in a very important guitar player, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah,
Mark.
well, it was Paul, our guitar player. He said, "Well, I've worked with some musicians, and they are in a band. And the guitar player of that band, I really would like to have him play a solo on this song. Are you guys okay with that?" We of course knew which band he was talking about. It was Snarky Puppy.
Yep.
A nice story in between that. Paul recorded already 2 albums with a few people from Snarky Puppy, a solo album for Paul.
Wow.
Totally different music, like guitar, acoustic, really nice filmistic, how you say that, movie music style guitar playing. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
It's still to be released, but with a lot of the Snarky Puppy guys in the studio of the bass player of Snarky Puppy. I forgot his name. Why did I forget his name? I don't know. But anyway. But then he called up. Yeah, I have this guitar player. That's Mark Lettieri. What a player, man! And the funny thing is that he was just about to go on tour. I think like a day after that. So Paul emailed emailed Mark, and he said, "Well, can you do it?" And then he said, "Well, just send it, and I'll try."
Right.
Well, he sent it, and like 3 hours later, he got it back.
Wow.
And he was like, "Wow, this is an amazing song, and I was really into it, and yeah, here it is."
But this guy won 5 Grammy Awards.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we got a Grammy winning guitar player on the album right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that rubs off on you guys.
Yeah, that would be great.
Why not? You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about your singer. He does appeal to everybody, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a good choice. Where did you find him anyway?
Well,
how'd you get him in the band?
Jermain, he came on my radar because he was singing with the solo project of the guitarist of Within Temptation.
Okay.
Ruud Jolie is his name.
Right.
And that project is called For All We Know. And I was listening to that, and I was like, "Hey, this is a great." Somebody sent it to me, and I was listening, and I think, "Hey, great project with Daniel Gildenlow on vocals." But then I looked into the liner notes. It was no Daniel Gildenlow. It was a Dutch singer, Jermain Wudstik. And I was like, "Whoa, who's that guy?" Now, then a year later, he was on
Ariane Lucas.
he was in Arian, of course, yes.
Yeah.
But also on the TV show, The Voice of Holland.
Okay.
The Voice, how you say it, and how you have it in the States.
Right.
And he came into the final, made it to the finals, and everybody was like, "Wow, he's great." And so when I think before Random Acts of Liberation came out, we were in search for a new singer, and we asked him to be our new singer, and he was listening to the album Random Acts. And he loved it, but it was just not the time because he was just coming out of that whole voice experience,
right,
with a lot of gigs and things. So it wasn't happening. Then we got Dak Burke, who I knew from a different project. He sang that album, but then after COVID and all the things that happened with that, we thought, well, being so far apart, he was in England, we were in the Netherlands. And not easy to get together to jam and make music. It's always expensive, flights and etc.
Yeah.
So we decided to part ways, and then immediately thought, okay, we have to have Jermain back. And when that happened, it was like just after the tour with Flying Colors. Nice story for that as well, because not a nice story. It didn't have a nice. How said it in English? Start of the story, because there was a death in the family of Dak. That's not nice, of course.
Right.
And then he couldn't do the tour, and that was like a week before the tour started. And we were like, okay, we can go on tour with Flying Colors. How cool is that? But this is so bad that his family member died. He cannot do it. What shall we do? And he said, guys, find somebody else, do it, because you need it. This is something you should do. And then we asked Jermain, and with one rehearsal on Saturday or Sunday, he came in. We did one rehearsal on Monday. We were in the tour bus.
Wow.
Killed it. Killed it.
And he had to learn all your songs.
Yeah. Of course, being so close to that, he was singing with lyrics in front of him.
Right.
And nobody would blame him about that because everybody knew the story now.
Yeah.
But it's like he was killing it. And when Dak really quit, we thought this is the time to ask him permanently to the with the band, and he said yes. And here we are.
Great voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's nice to have a new direction, isn't it?
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah. It happens a
Still,
lot.
Dak was great, and he's a really good friend still.
Yeah.
And we're working on some other stuff together. But it's always learning new people, working with new people is always nice.
Yeah. I had Big Train on the show, and of course, you know, their singer was fantastic, and then
it was amazing
when he passed away, you know. But their new singer, same thing, and kind of a different, you know, flair to the band, different sound now. Yeah, and he worked out good too. Your bass player came from, I think, Pain of Salvation, which is another great band. Yeah. And For All We Know as well. And you were, I guess you started the band, Effector. Was that your band? Yeah. What's going on with Effector? Are you still involved, or is that over?
Yeah, no. Well, the thing with Effector is that Daniel, the guitar player and the main songwriter, he has a full-time job working in a hospital as a nurse.
Oh, really?
So he is really busy with that.
Wow.
And it's really difficult to combine making music on that scale with a day job where you have to save people all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So we are talking now of maybe looking at a way to do another record. Touring is difficult because it's such an international project with band members coming from all over the place. A few from the States, from Europe. That makes touring very difficult. But we are looking at least into maybe recording something again. Yeah.
Has Dilemma played in the U.S. at all?
No.
But
we
you
almost did.
Yeah.
We had a few shows booked, but then COVID hit and it got all cancelled, and it didn't pick up back up. So we hope with the new album now that we can continue those plans and start touring again, and also in the States.
No, if I had the money, I would put together kind of a Prague stock tour. It's got to be not just one venue. It's got to be a tour of the United States.
Yeah.
Get about, you know, maybe 8 to 10, you know, current prog bands together.
Would be great.
It would be wonderful. You know, every city would sell out.
Well, you know a lot of people, so.
Oh yeah, I do. I just don't have the cash to put it up.
But maybe somebody else has the cash, and you have the idea. So
exactly, you know. What was it like working with Neil?
Oh, it's great. What
He's
a great
good guy, isn't he?
Great guy. Yeah. And it was like when I started playing with Neil, he was like, I was such a big fan of his music, first and foremost, you know, and then. I got to be able to play with him, and some people say never work with your idol. Well, I did a long time, and it was great. He's a great guy, and really had a lot of fun, and I loved it, and I will do it anytime again. Yeah.
Neil's incredible. He puts out so much music, you know.
Oh yeah.
I don't see how he has any time for another life, you know.
Well, I've talked a lot with him about it, and he's like, he wakes up with a whole symphonic piece in his mind, you know, and it's like crazy how much music flows out of him. Yeah.
And then he came up with this trio with Ross Jennings and DeVigilo, you know, which. It's totally different. You know, I told him some of his songs sounds like Crosby, Stills and Nash, you know. Yeah. It's good albums. I think he's got his second album now out recently.
And on Morsfest this fall, they will play because all three of them are at Morsfest. So I will see them live. maybe even play some shakers with him.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Who knows?
Have you been on the cruise?
Not yet.
No,
No.
Cruise
Would
of the
love
Edge.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I,
due.
I keep spamming them like book dilemma, book dilemma.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to do a cruise.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah. Although a cruise is maybe environmentally not so friendly.
Yeah,
But anyway.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm in Florida near Tampa.
Yeah.
And we had not too far from us. We had that big spill. Remember the Gulf spill?
Oh yeah.
What happened to that? Nobody talks about it anymore. That was a huge spill. It didn't just disappear.
No.
You know?
Got cleaned up maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. That was a huge spill.
Yeah.
How difficult? You were a tour manager too, right? With Neil. How difficult is it to become a tour manager? What did you have to do? And plus, you played too in the band, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was just something I always done.
Right.
Like if I want to play as much as I can. If I wait on others to make it happen, I might wait a long time.
Yeah.
So why don't I make it happen?
Right.
So that was my thought. And with Neil, the first tour was done by a friend of mine, but after that, I took over that job and I booked the shows and
really
I did everything.
You booked all the shows.
Yeah, because it was like Neil was like, "Hey man, yeah, I could play," and then I was like, "Okay, let me try to call some venues."
Right.
To see if we can get some shows.
Yep.
And that's how it started and how I rolled into it. And at that time Neil was happy with that. And when Transatlantic were touring in 2010, the World Tour, Whirlwind Tour, Neil suggested that I could be the tour manager. And so Mike called me and said, "Hey, you want to do the tour?" I said, "Yeah, of course."
Wow.
I know I was in Egypt at that point. Very, very surreal. You're on the beach in Egypt, having a holiday, and then your phone rings.
Wow.
And you see a phone number from the States, and you hang. "Hey man, it's Mike Portnoy."
Yeah.
"Hey man." It's funny. Yeah.
Everything stops.
Yeah.
Oh man. So do you have like a list of all the promoters, to arrange the bookings or what?
Yeah, I got it's been a while, so not everybody is still working, but I got a nice list. Yeah.
Yeah. How many dates did you have to book?
It depends on the year. With Transatlantic, I didn't book them. With Neil, I did, and some tours were 10 or 15 shows.
Right.
The last tour was, I think, about 20 shows. Yeah, it depends on the year. And some years we just did a few festivals and 2 or 3 shows. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're multi-talented. That's for sure. Renaissance man. I want to talk about. Go ahead.
It's what I just said. Like if I want something to happen, I better make it happen myself, because otherwise I can wait forever, and it won't happen, or will happen too late or something. So I'm always like, okay, this needs to be done. Well, let's go.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you've got all the talent. You're the guy who should put together the Prog stock tour.
Oh yeah, I could do it. I know. I could do it. Yeah.
Just go to the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem, I guess.
Dutch bankers are friendly, aren't they?
Well,
I used to be a banker too.
Oh, okay.
We got to talk about your school. Okay. Yeah. Tell me all about it. Yeah, because we have a thing here, called the School of Rock. I don't know if is it similar to that or?
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
It's not the same, but it's like we have a music school. It's everybody has his own I say that twist to being a music school, and they have theirs and we have ours. But it started when I was 18. People started asking me, "Hey, Collin, you are a drummer, and I really like your playing. Can I learn from you?" Of course. So I started just teaching them, and I went to conservatory, and after that I started just teaching from out of my house. That grew and grew and grew very quickly, so I had to rent a place. to be able to teach, and I rented a place, like on a farm, a bit illegal because, well, a friend of mine said, "Oh, you can come here. I got a barn, and we'll fix it, and you can do it there." So I was there for a few years, but it grew and grew and grew, and then I won 3 years in a row. I won prizes as one of the best drum schools of the Netherlands.
Wow!
But that blew it up because then everybody was coming and was like, "Hey, I want to study with you, but do you also do bass or keyboard or guitar?" And I didn't do it. I'm just a drummer. And my wife is a singer, and her days were full, my days were full. So I thought, well, I can just send all those people away to other people to learn there, or I can just hire them at my place. And so that's how it started. And it was in 2005 when it became Nove Pop School. And we started with my lesson, my days of lessons, and the students of my wife. And I know I still remember the first open day, we call it. I don't know if that is the English term, but like people can just come by and see how's the school. Open house, yeah. So I remember the first thing. We had just had a new building, so we opened the door. We were ready, and I said to a few of my friends who were helping me, "Are we ready? Yeah, okay. Put the door open." But I was behind the door, and I didn't know there were so many people standing at the other side. So they pushed open the door, and I was like, "Oh!" And I had to wait until everybody was in, and then I could close the door, and then the building was full with people, and I was like, "Okay,
that's a good sign.
That's a really good start," you know. And in like a few months, we were full.
Wow!
And that didn't stop until now. Okay, the COVID period was terrible. I almost went bankrupt. We lost like more than 70% of our students, and so after the last lockdown, we could open again, and I was like, okay, do we still have a future? We'll see. So start grinding and working it, and now I got like 300 people on the waiting list to start with us.
Wow!
And it's like insane. So it's really nice. Yeah.
Well, do you have a certain age group, or is it?
It's
anybody?
I think the youngest student is like 4, and the eldest is 84.
Oh wow, that's good. Yeah.
And everything in between. That's one thing we my wife and I said when we started the school. We don't want to be a kids' school. We want to do it for all ages, because music is not something you just only learn when you're a kid. Also, people with every age should learn to play music, or should be better at playing music.
Are you doing all the instruments, or just drumming?
All the pop music instruments. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why we say pop school. So we have guitars, we got drums, bass, keyboards, piano, singing lessons. Actually, Jermain is one of the teachers at my school.
Really?
Yeah.
See, if you were in the States, I would take piano from you guys for sure.
Cool.
It's better to, you know why you're so popular, because it's not like a one-on-one where this, instructor comes to your house, or you got to go to their house. It's, it's better to be like in that kind of setting,
Yeah, true. Yeah. The room behind me, that's actually also in my music school. And those rooms all look the same. So if you are in like a studio setting, you already learn a lot more easier than at your house where everybody's walking around and it's a blessing to be able to do this, because and I always say everything I do in life is because I have a mission, and that is to let people enjoy music as a listener, or preferably as a musician themselves, or somebody who becomes a musician. Doesn't have to be a professional musician or a working musician, or just somebody who enjoys making music on their porch or whatever, but it's for me, it's like if everybody would be making music in the world, it will be a different world.
We'd have peace.
I think so. Yeah.
That's the international sign of peace is music.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
true.
We can all relate.
Yeah. So it's one of my missions to really yeah, do this with with my music school and making music as well, and combine those. You know, like all our teachers are actually also themselves playing in the Dutch music scene. I don't want to have those
Right.
teachers that are doing nothing. You know, you have to do something,
Sure.
because that experience needs to rub off on the students so that they can experience that for themselves as well.
That's
Yeah.
very smart. Very smart to do that. You know, when I went to broadcasting school,
Mm.
and it was owned by CBS at the time, but all my instructors were ex DJs for
All
years.
right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, at different radio stations, different genres. So that
Mm.
it helped a lot.
Yeah. Definitely.
They
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
actually in the field. They weren't
Yeah.
reading out of a book or anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And also with our school, we do concerts. And we don't do that in our school or
Mhm.
in a boring place. We do those concerts in the places where music normally is, you know, like in concert halls or in theaters, with full blown sound equipment, lights, everything, you know, the whole
Wow.
shebang, to give them the experience of what it is like to be in a band and to really perform for an audience. And yeah, it's people are really liking that. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a franchise and come to America.
Yeah, well, it is a franchise, but
It is a franchise,
yeah,
really.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome. Well, you're
yeah.
doing
We're just
great
in it.
things, man. That's awesome. You know,
Thanks. Yeah, yeah.
it really is. It's got to be rewarding for you too. You know,
It is. It is. You know,
it's kind of
it's
like
maybe not
giving
making a lot
back,
of
you know?
money. It's not about
Yeah.
making a lot of money
Right.
being in music because it's music, right?
Yep.
But it's really fulfilling that I can every time we have a show and I get the parents or the students come up to me and tell me what this has meant for them to be able to do this
Mm-hmm.
and what the music lessons mean to them and
Mm-hmm.
how they change how their lives changed. It's really touching.
Yeah.
If you like, I can tell you an example. Was this mother? She came up to me and said, well, do you know, Colin, that your school saved my little girl? I'm like, what do you mean, saved your girl?
Yeah.
Well, she was like 12
Mm-hmm.
and just went into well, I think high school in US language, and 13, I guess. And then she had a really tough time, was being bullied, and so she was really depressed. She didn't dare to do anything, and her mother said, well, maybe you go singing lessons, do singing lessons with this school. I don't dare, I don't dare, you know. And we took her in, and we brought her into the music scene and brought into learning music and learning singing. And well, long story short, she is happy, and she changed totally. Her school, her rates went up, and every, you know, like depression was gone, and I was very humbled when she said that. And that's one of the sparks
Yep.
that keep my fire burning to be able to do this. Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely therapy, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, have you followed your students? Has any of them gotten turned professional, or have they
Yeah, yeah, a
entered,
lot.
like, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh,
Every
very
year
cool.
we have students that go to conservatory or a music education, higher
Yep.
music education, and a lot of them are now in the Netherlands doing a lot of things and are professional musicians touring and making music and
Fantastic.
scoring hits. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have drummers that have made it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Drummers and everything. Yeah, yeah,
Awesome. That's great, man. That's
yeah.
that's that's good stuff. It really is. I got to ask, who's your favorite drummer?
Uh, yeah, that's a question. It's so hard to
A-
answer because it's
And
depending on the
Mike
music
Portnoy is
style.
listening.
Yeah. Well, Portnoy is Mike is one of my biggest influences because I had to study him,
Yeah.
you know, and not just study him. I had to play his rhythm parts, of course.
Yep.
And I got to know him as well, and
Mhm.
he's just such a great guy, and worked with him a lot. And yeah, it's an honor that I had got to know him, and that we're still in good contact and seeing each other at certain festivals or shows, and it's always great. But so of course he is one of my favorites, and I think Simon Phillips is as well is one of my youth
Right.
heroes, together with Neil Peart, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I started listening to prog. The first band I listened to prog was Rush,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a really big fan of Toto,
Mm-hmm.
Jeff
Big
Porcaro.
fan.
But then when
Yeah.
Simon Phillips came, my whole world changed, because I really loved his sound. Put any record on
Mm-hmm.
where he plays on,
Mm-hmm.
and 2, 3, maybe 4 beats on a drum, and I know
Mhm.
it's him, because his sound of his kit is such a distinct sound. You immediately hear, oh, this is Simon Phillips. So yeah, that's. But he's also a great guy. I went to a few of his clinics and master classes, and wow, yeah, that he's a Nestor of drumming. Yeah,
You know, there's a lot of drummers putting on clinics. You
yeah.
know, they love to
Not so
teach.
much anymore though, but
Yeah.
still, yeah.
You know, I know Billy Cobham. He's one of my
All right,
favorite
yeah,
drummers,
yeah, yeah,
and he does that.
yeah,
He
yeah.
does a lot of teaching, and yeah, there's a lot of great musicians, legendary musicians that are teachers now,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is
I think
cool.
as a musician, you know that the talent you are given is
Yeah.
not just for you.
Right.
It's an obligation to hand it out again to somebody
Yep.
else, so that they can bring it to somebody else, and
Yeah.
etc. etc. Yeah.
You know, if you go on YouTube, there's a lot of excellent women musicians
All right.
now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Also.
young, great drummers,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and guitar players. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah.
like all of a sudden, these women are, you know, incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they've always been incredible, but I guess they never had the opportunities
Right.
that men got. You know,
Exactly.
and I think in these times, um, uh, there's a lot of talking about equality. I
Yep.
said it in English.
Yeah.
So I think
Equality.
that's the reason why we see them more now. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't, you know, acceptable for like a woman to play drums. I think, you know, who broke the barrier was probably Karen Carpenter from the
Yeah.
Carpenters.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
what a
know,
drummer she was.
she was a good drummer,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
beautiful singer
Yeah. Also.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question I ask
Mm-hmm.
everybody, and I get some very interesting answers. Okay. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, that's one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite movies, to perform with or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be? And don't say
Yeah.
Mike Portnoy. Yeah.
I already worked with him, so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Yeah. No, but wow. Yeah, that's a good question. Whew. I wish you had emailed me. I could have thought about it.
I know. Everybody gets stumped on that, but eventually I
Yeah,
get an
yeah,
answer. You can put
yeah,
together
yeah.
a
Well,
band if you want.
it's well, as a young guy, I was
Mhm.
also into Striper,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I would still love to play with them once, you know,
Right.
just once, one song is enough. But but anyway, yeah. What should I do? Well, oh, there are so many musicians I would love to play with.
Mhm.
I think it's really difficult for me to just give you a real answer right now in who. But well,
Would you?
I would love to have being played on the original Woodstock.
Okay.
Doesn't matter with anybody, doesn't matter,
Right.
but just that festival,
Just to be there.
to
Yeah.
be there, you know, on a
Yeah.
stage. Yeah, that would have been maybe Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drummer for Jimi Hendrix.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That'd be cool. A power trio.
yeah, yeah.
How about filling in for John Bonham?
Yeah, that's like, if we start like that, we can name like
Keith
so many
Moon.
bands, you know. It's yeah.
Yeah. Well, Colin, what's next for Dilemma? This album is coming out
Yeah.
this month,
September 20.
September 20th. Okay. You got the third video coming out
Yeah, this Friday.
this Friday. The other two are incredible. They're really, really cool.
Thank you. Actually, with this video, the video itself is also very cool.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
A friend of us, Frits de Beer is his name.
Right.
He's a very, very good cameraman and editor and photographer. And he made this for us with his own touch to what he thinks the song is about.
Right.
That's also nice with this album. We have a meaning with it. We have an idea about what it's about, but I think the lyrics are broad enough that everybody can think of his own, how you say that, way of thinking what the story is about. You know, yeah, own perspective. Yes, that's the right word. So he made a really cool video. So everybody should check it out. But what's next is that October 11 we will have our album release party.
Okay.
And then November 24 we will play in AFAS Live. That's a big venue here. And we are the after party after the 40th anniversary tour of Dream Theater.
The 40th anniversary tour, yeah.
Yeah.
With Dream Theater.
Yeah.
In Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam, yeah. So when they finish, we start in the hall next to it, and we are the after party. So that's very cool.
Cool. That's November 24th.
Yeah.
And there's another show you're doing right October 11th.
Yes.
Also in the Netherlands.
Yeah, in the Netherlands. And we're working now. We get a few requests for some festivals next year already.
Yep.
International in the UK and in Germany and Italy. And we are looking at touring in 25 and 26 and already writing new stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
So you're busy. You're really busy.
Oh yeah, we're really busy. Yeah.
I want to say very special thanks to Roy Avon of Royal Avenue Media for setting up this interview with Collin. And you can pre-order The Purpose Paradox by Dilemma. You can pre-order it. I have an address of https://shop.dilemma.band.
Yeah.
And
if you go to dilemma.band, you'll find
dilemma.band. Okay. It'll probably be on Amazon and everywhere else.
Of course,
when it comes out.
Yeah.
For more information about Dilemma, you can go to www.dilemma.band, and you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and your website is out there as well.
Yeah. It's my full name.com.
and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And you got the upcoming shows. I put all the discography of you and Dilemma, because you work with so many people. A lot of albums with Neil.
Yeah.
I think the last one was, let's see, Lifeline.
Yeah, I did one song on the bonus disc of Lifeline. Yeah.
Okay. You also worked with Jessica Kuhlman.
Yeah, that's my wife.
That is your wife.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to check her out. I'm sure she's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, definitely. And if you go to if you watch the DVD, live DVD of Neil Moore's Sola Scriptura, you will see her singing.
Oh, she sings also with Neil. Yeah. Okay, incredible. There's nothing like a woman singing Prog, right?
A lot of people say, "Oh, she should sing more."
Exactly. Yeah. Well, put her in the band. Put her in Dilemma. The B band, right?
Yeah,
it's another. And then you worked with so many other people, including Dave Bainbridge, who was on the show. I know Dave. He's a good guy.
I played
as well.
on his album Celestial Fire.
Right. That was a good album. I think I reviewed that album with Dave.
All right.
Yeah. Well, Collin, thank you so much for being on the show today, man.
Thank you for having me and having this great talk. I really enjoyed the talk with you.
Me too.
And
me too.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
It's been great, and good luck with the school.
Thank you.
Maybe one day you'll come to America with Dilemma.
We'll it would be great. I hope very soon. Yeah.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
Take care, man.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Interviewing the Legends with Ray Shasho.